Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Formula 1 esports because we had the initial event about a month ago. It was a massive success and I wanted to go through it today about how I actually think it's actually sort of revolutionised Formula 1. It had so much exposure, it had so many views across the world. It was actually really impressive for a first time event for a sport like Formula 1 who's never really been interested in esports. For the first time, it's really come in and been very good straight away. So we're going to start off with the statistics for the whole event because they came in a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'd go through them here today and let you guys know about how successful this first event was. There were 64,000 total entries for the first sort of qualifying heats on the online platforms. You saw Codemasters, the official F1 account, sort of tweeting, posting links to sort of the challenges they implemented into the game. 64,000 entries to this competition. Really amazing to have that sort of this audience straight away. But with it now being on the map, I think if they do this again next year, which fingers crossed they will, it'll be so much better than that, probably over 100,000 for sure. And something we've seen sort of Formula 1 definitely be better with over the last couple of years is social media, and that was a massive sort of presence in sort of promoting this whole event. So social media and online platforms, according to Formula 1, were the main sort of promoters of this event. They didn't really sort of get much in terms of sort of traditional sort of TV media, for example. It's mostly online and social media, which is a great thing because this sort of F1 community that we got here on YouTube is a part of this esports gaming community. A lot of the people that are here making gaming videos on YouTube also entered into the competition, and quite a few of them actually ended up racing at the event. So we've got the statistics now for each individual platform, and it's so interesting to see. So in total, this event had 20.5 million impressions. That's absolutely incredible. Across all platforms, this had 20.5 million impressions, which is, you know, it's amazing. That is sublime for a first time event. Obviously Formula 1 is a massive sort of event, it's a massive sort of series, but still for a first time event that is very good. And across all of the platforms it got 6 million views as well, which is pretty impressive by itself. Obviously you have to click on a video on most platforms. I think on Facebook it might autoplay, but in a lot of the other platforms you actually have to click on the video for it to play. So that is impressive numbers. So I've got the statistics down on this piece of paper here. So on Facebook the final had 1.8 million views, so nearly a third of the total views for the whole sort of series on YouTube, on social media, all that sort of stuff, was Facebook, which is really impressive because for me, I don't really go down the sort of social media route of Facebook. I don't really sort of check that sort of side of things. I'm mostly about sort of Twitter and Instagram, and I guess sort of autosport, motorsport, sort of F1 news websites there where I sort of look for my F1 news, for example. I don't really ever check Facebook for that sort of stuff, but by the looks of it, a lot of people do, and having nearly a third of the total impressions or total video views just from Facebook alone, it's got to be said that is very impressive. On Twitch, this was actually quite a bit of a letdown when I read the statistics. So it had 54,000 total views for the stream, and then 5,700 as an average and 8,000 as a peak. So that's not that good considering Twitch is a massive platform, obviously great for live streaming as well. I guess they probably could have promoted that a little bit more, but I suppose when they're having so many synchronized streams at the same time, maybe that sort of draws back from Twitch, where people might see, might see it as like Twitter or, I don't know, Instagram or Facebook. They might see that as the easier route to sort of watch these videos. So Instagram's an interesting one for me. For videos, I don't like, obviously for pictures, that's where I would definitely go, but for videos, I always found it a little bit strange that so many people go on there looking for videos. So on Instagram, there were 6.1 million impressions for esports and 1.6 million video views. That's impressive in itself once again, and 310,000 engagements. So that's like comments and shares and likes, that sort of stuff, I think. So yeah, that's pretty impressive by itself once again. I think this really just shows how successful this first event has been for F1 esports, and I'm personally really excited to see what they do in the future, because with these numbers right from the outset, it can only get bigger. Like with esports, it will start off obviously smaller and get bigger. It might plateau at some point, but right now it's sort of the minimum it probably would ever be. So for Twitter, it had 7.8 million impressions, and on the finale day, the race day, it had 830,000 impressions on that day as well. So once again, pretty impressive statistics there over on Twitter. So YouTube, also another interesting one, especially for you guys obviously watching this. I guess a lot of you guys are F1 fans here on YouTube, whether you're gaming, news, that sort of stuff. It's definitely somewhere where you come to watch your videos. And that had 960,000 views when this report was published by Formula 1, but it's probably gone over the 1 million mark now, which is obviously a massive number for that to go over. whatever. And for me, that's obviously really impressive, but then to see that Facebook had even more than that is slightly surprising. But I guess there are a lot more people on Facebook, so I suppose it kind of works out like that. But I definitely feel they probably should have live streamed the other races, because they only live streamed one of the races. I don't think they live streamed any of the semi-finals. They sort of had stuff now and again, but they didn't really have a live sort of show, which I definitely think they should have. And obviously got some really cool people involved, like Matt, obviously from WTF1. That was great for him to sort of be on that sort of semi-final show. That was absolutely fantastic. It was great to see. And obviously in the final as well, he was there. And there are so many amazing guests as well, like Karun Chandok, I remember, Davide Velzecki. Some really good drivers were there as well on the presenting team as well. So that was really, really great to see. They actually got some sort of names that people recognise into the sort of that side of the whole thing as well. It's not traditional Formula One, which is obviously actual cars. It's sort of new age Formula One with racing cars, online games, that sort of stuff. So it was great to sort of for them to merge the two, if you will. It was also interesting to note that it was broadcast on 123 countries around the world, which was pretty awesome as well. I'm not sure which countries didn't get it, but obviously not every single country around the world managed to watch this event. But I'm sure maybe in the future they'll try and make sure that this does go totally worldwide. But at the end of the day, I think it's a fantastic first event for Formula One esports, and I'm excited to see what the future is going to hold for this, because surely it can only get bigger at this point. So I've talked about all the stuff which has been amazing so far about this, the first event, which has been a massive success. But we also do need to talk about improvements for next year, because I think all of us here on YouTube and social media noticed a couple of things which definitely need to be sort of noted and improved for next year, because that's the only way you can improve, is obviously look at stuff that went wrong and try and make it perfect for next year. For me, the big one would be live streaming these semi-finals, getting all that stuff out on social media a bit more, and also the sort of other races in the final, because they only, if I'm right, I think they only live streamed one of the races on YouTube and all that sort of stuff, and that was the last event. That was like the title decider, I suppose, if you will. But there were, I think, 4 other races in the final where they didn't actually show live, and also in the semi-finals as well. I think that could have been broadcast a bit better, because especially for me, I do keep an eye on social media and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't sort of feel the presence of the semi-final. Maybe I was busy on that day or something and just didn't see it or whatever, but for me the semi-finals weren't that well broadcast in the whole sort of grand scheme of things, and I think it would be nice for them to live stream that sort of stuff over on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all the stuff that was successful this time. Nice to sort of repeat that for next year, but actually to make it live for all of the events. I think it would just increase the audience, because for me, I love watching that last race that was live. It was so nice to see it in like real time, like an actual Formula One race. But sort of seeing highlights and only sort of, what was it, like 2-3 minute highlight videos on the F1 YouTube channel for the other races wasn't so good. I feel like everything should have been live. Maybe that's too much to ask, I don't know. But a lot of other sports do it with not as much money. So personally, I would have gone that route of just live streaming everything. Also, we've got to mention the game as well, because there were problems with the game, people sort of having problems with the game, which is very, very frustrating when you've qualified through, what was it, 64,000 people to get to the final, the last like 20 people racing, and then you have a problem with the game that wasn't your fault. I mean, there needs to have been, I think personally, I think a lot of people on social media said this as well, so I'm only just sort of backing it up with what I saw as well, but I think there needs to be some explanations about all that sort of stuff, because there was never really, anything explained. People from good positions getting just glitches and that sort of stuff. It can't happen at that level, and it is what it is. Unfortunately, they can't really change it now, but you never know who, the events might have took place in a slightly different way if the game was flawless and there weren't glitches. So that's just one thing also to note. We're also going to talk about the F1 2018 game. So if this was to go obviously to 2018 and there was to be another esports final, that sort of stuff at Abu Dhabi, it would be on the 2018 game, most likely, unless it was really delayed. But that would mean surely they move the Formula One games now to more towards esports, a bit like what Gran Turismo did with its latest game, Gran Turismo Sport. They went to sort of the esports side of things. They didn't focus so much on the single player, and obviously I got invited to the beta testing last year, and a lot of the stuff was sort of around career mode at that sort of time. But I think personally for 2018 it's going to be a switch surely to sort of esports and online, because I think they've peaked. They've done a good job with the career mode, and obviously you can just keep playing year after year, and there is exciting, there is excitement still in there, but I definitely feel that there is still improvements to be had online, and surely now, especially with all this success with the esports final, they've got to make 2018 an esports game. They've got to sort of push that side of things, and they've got to, even though career mode is fantastic, and I'm sure there's still stuff they can do with it, they've got to now focus online and on esports. That's my personal opinion. It's also interesting to think about whether other games can be sort of implemented into this. I know Codemasters might not like that, because obviously the F1 2018 game or 2017 game is the official game, but not everyone's great at that game, if that makes any sense. I don't know if there should be a couple of finals. I don't know, this is just getting too complicated. I don't really know. In my head, it sort of made sense when I wrote these notes down, but obviously F1 2017 isn't a simulator. Like iRacing, R-Factor, they're more realistic, for example, and there are going to be people that are better at those games, a bit like McLaren's World Fastest Gamer, that was set across multiple games. So I don't know that it's just a Fantasyland idea from me, but it would be nice to have other games implemented, especially, I mean, iRacing has an official McLaren in it and an official Williams from a few years back as well, so something like that surely could work. But I don't know, I can understand why if it was just F1 Codemasters games in the future, because of course that is the official game, that is going to be what the Formula 1 sort of side of things wants to promote. They don't want to promote a game that is not based on Formula 1 totally, so I can understand it, but I can also understand the frustration from some people where, you know, who are like, F1 is not a sim, and if you want the best in the world, surely you should try different games, different disciplines. So I don't know, that's a personal opinion. Of course, I'm not very good at any racing game, so maybe I'm not the best person I should say, to judge on that. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Should it be opened up? Should it be multiple games, or do you think it should just be the official Formula 1 game? Maybe they should go more down the simulator rate. Maybe they should push sort of realism in F1 2018. But I can see, for audience of the masses, it probably won't be that way. And lastly, I wanted to talk a bit more about getting to know the drivers, especially in the final. I mean, I didn't watch a huge amount of the content until the live race, but it would be nice to know a bit more about the drivers, if that makes any sense, because we got a bit of background. We got what maybe their job example was, or what their history in games was, but I'd like to know, you know, a bit more about the drivers. Make it like actual drivers, that makes any sense. If we get to the final, you've got these 22 people, I think it'd be nice to maybe do like a bit of a cutaway video, maybe like 2-3 minutes long, with each of the drivers, get to know them a bit more. And that's the sort of thing that I think works really well in other motorsport, where maybe a new driver comes in, you don't really know much about them, but then they do this sort of video, you get to know them, you get to see their personality. Personally, that'd be a nice thing, I think, to sort of have in the sort of this whole grand scheme of things, would be a nice little cutaway video, a little bit of an interview with all the drivers, and then through the weekend they can sort of splice in those interviews here and there, and we can sort of get to know the drivers a bit more, because even though obviously like Brendan won, we didn't really know a huge amount about him until like obviously he won, and then they sort of said a bit more, but before that we didn't really know much about them. So it'd be nice to get that sort of bit more info about the guys, and then we can sort of choose someone to support a bit more, someone we relate to a bit more. I don't know, but yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be just maybe the filmmaker side of me wants to see that sort of stuff. It would make it feel a bit more authentic than just a game people playing that you don't really connect with in any way. And actually, a super relevant article by BBC, which was posted earlier this year, says that by 2020, esports is set for a £1 billion revenue and a worldwide audience of 600 million. So even though that was done earlier this year, that's still super relevant to this. I think it shows that Formula 1, if they can come to this new age with sort of gaming, with sort of online stuff, I honestly feel that F1 is just going to get bigger and bigger, because I think part of the reason why I want to make this video is because a lot of people I know, for example, just play the F1 games but don't watch F1, and if they can sort of make the connection between them two a little bit more, I think it can just make F1 grow and grow and grow. So I think in a way, this whole sort of esports side of things is going to get new fans into the sport, maybe that don't see the racing is so amazing on sort of TV, like real life Formula 1, where it's a bit, you know, follow the leader sort of thing. In games, for example, it's much more exciting. So if we can connect the two, I think that we will actually sort of just get more and more fans into Formula 1. So I think in a way, this whole esports thing that's been going on over the last couple of months has really revolutionised Formula 1 for the better, and it's going to be exciting to see over the next couple of years how it improves, how it gets better. And yeah, it really was great to watch. Congrats to all the guys that entered it. 64,000 down to what, like 40, down to like 20, like every single person that sort of entered it, congrats, you're part of history. And obviously Brendan and the rest of the guys that got to the final, you know, awesome to see as well. And it's really great to see. They're all like joking around and that sort of stuff over the whole weekend. I saw it on social media. So yeah, every single person that was involved in it, you got to give yourself a pat on the back, because honestly it was great, and you're part of history and something that's going to be amazing for Formula 1 for the future. So yeah, Awesome. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below. Did you enjoy the esports final? Did you enjoy sort of the whole thing, or were you a bit put off in some way for some reason? Let me know in the comment section down below. But thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. I actually completely forgot to say hopefully you guys had a good sort of Christmas or holidays at the start of this video, but hopefully you guys did. Hopefully you are watching to the end right now. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully you did have a great Christmas or holidays, and hopefully you're going to have a great new year as well. So only a couple of days until the new year. I'm probably going to upload this late. I'm probably going to end up spending too long editing this and ended up sort of uploading it too many days late or whatever, but nonetheless, it's going to hopefully go up at some point. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. I have started up a Patreon, a donation account, so I've never really asked for donations, but if you are enjoying these videos, please go down there below and possibly leave a donation. That'd be massively appreciated, and in the future it will start going into, you know, giveaways and that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in getting involved in giveaways, sort of, you know, donator only giveaways, that's going to be down in the description of this video. It's going to be a Patreon. I'd really appreciate it, but completely understand if you can't donate. But yeah, it would massively help me out with some of the trips I've got planned for 2018. And yeah, I should also mention I'm going to Auto Sport Show on the Friday, so if anyone's going to the Auto Sport Show in Birmingham on the Friday, I'll be there. So if I see you or you see me, give me a thumbs up. Maybe not slap me, but just come and say hi. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This got really off topic right at the end here, but yeah, I don't know what that was. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go now, finally. See you soon. Goodbye.